Well, hi guys, welcome back to the Kneady Homesteader channel and our final video together for the Canning Revolution workshop, which, I found out that I was shadow banned on YouTube from the algorithm because I used the word revolution in this workshop. I didn't even think about it when it was something that we were talking about quite often. If there was going to be a revolution, let it be a canning revolution. And I didn't even think that the word revolution would have me shadow banned or kicked off the algorithm. So basically all of my workshop videos that I have been doing all month for you guys, for most of you, they have not been showing up in your feed. So I'm going to ask you guys a huge favor if you would help me out. Like this video. I'm gonna open up the likes down below. Share this video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Many of you have been unsubscribed from my channel, wondering why my videos haven't been popping up in your feed, and then you come over to my channel and you realize that you've been unsubscribed from the unsub bug, which has been on YouTube forever and a day. I've been on YouTube now almost 14 years. So, it's something they still have not fixed. And make sure that you ring the notification bell so that because I have my settings set up that it gets pushed out into your notifications when I upload a video. So if you guys can do that for me and help share the workshop around for anybody, any of your friends, any of your family who have wanted to know how to can, can you please help them out and help me out by sharing my videos in the canning workshop so that we can kind of get this knowledge out there? Because honestly, you guys, and one of the main reasons why I did this workshop was because I really feel in my heart of hearts, if you watch any channels, especially like Ice Age Farmer, who talks about in depth the food shortages that are coming, that have already hit most of the world in certain places. We might be facing a food shortage here very soon. And so I know many of you, like me, you're making gardens this year and you want to be able to preserve what you harvest. So canning is one of those ways that we can preserve our food, along with freezing, along with dehydrating. All of these, being a home preservationist, means that we diversify our pantries. So, but canning plays a big role in that. And so I know many of you out there want to learn this life skill. I want to cheer you on while you learn this life skill. And so if you can do me a favor and just maybe share some of these videos around to people that you know who might need them, maybe in your Facebook page or your Instagrams, that would sure help a lot of people out. So I would greatly appreciate it as we try to counteract, not everybody wants us to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining, even a little bit. So we are going to try to beat Uncle Algorithm here and try to spread this knowledge. Okay, so thank you very much, you guys. All right, so today I was going to originally run a test run with the pressure canner, but you know what, you guys, I already have those videos out on my channel, and so I don't want to be too repetitive with you guys. I appreciate the time that you spend with me, and I don't want it to be repetitive or boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link up above to those videos where I test run my 915, and I also run through how to prep and clean and take care of your All-American canners for those of you who are using an All-American canner. So I will leave those links up above for you in iCards. You can also find them in my canning playlist. I think I have close to 150 videos in that playlist now, along with a playlist for canning for beginners. beginners. I also will have this playlist, which is our Canning Revolution workshop playlist. So I've got a lot of canning videos on YouTube for you guys, and I pretty much cover everything there. What I do want to cover with you guys though are some additives that you're going to want to have in your canning pantry, things that you are going to need or want to fall back on. There have been some questions about things like Clear Jell, the difference between Clear Jell and Sure Jell. So we're going to talk about some of those added extras that you're going to want in your canning pantry and that you will use for canning. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is canning salt. Now, I keep a ton of canning salt. This is a half-gallon jar, and this is how I keep it. I buy it in bulk at the Amish bulk food store, but you can order this online, and I'm going to leave as many links as I can down below to make it very easy for you guys. For those of you who do not have an Amish bulk food store near you, but I buy it in bulk. I keep it in half-gallon jars because it just keeps better and longer, and I can keep the moisture out in this. And so canning salt, you want to have it on hand, but you can pretty much use any salt except table salt. So you want to stay away from any iodized salt, okay? Any iodized salt, because what it does when you can with it is it can discolor your food. So if you want your canned goods to look bright and vibrant and colorful and really pretty in the jar, and for the water to stay nice and clear, you're going to want to use a salt that isn't iodized like table salt. So if you want to use sea salt, many times I'll just grab for sea salt. A lot of times I just keep salt completely out of my home canned goods, and I add the salt when I go and use whatever food it is that I'm using. I don't even, most of the time, don't even add salt. So salt is an option. It's usually just for added flavor, and it does not help in the preservation of food when it comes to pressure canning, okay? It's just added flavor. So if you're watching the salt intake in your diet, you can leave this out. But if you want to use sea salt, if you want to use Himalayan pink salt, you can use any of those salts as long as you stay away from the iodized, and that's just because it won't look pretty. It won't make your jars look very pretty, okay? It can discolor whatever it is you're canning. So that's the key on salt. It's not complicated. You just want to stay away from the table salt. Okay, so another thing that you're going to want in your canning pantry is citric acid. And this is how I buy mine. Again, I'll try to leave a link down below for you. And then I go ahead and I just put it in a jar because for me, once it's open, it just keeps better for me in a jar. And then I just label it on the top. And so citric acid is going to be one of those things that you will probably add to some of your jams and jellies. And it's just always good to have on hand, because if you see it in a recipe and a recipe calls for it, you're going to want to make sure you have it. This isn't something that is completely, you know, totally easy to find at your local grocery store. So pick some up. Have some in your pantry just to have on hand for the times that you need to bring that acid level up in your canning. Okay, so another thing that you're going to want to have on hand is pectin. And this is how I buy mine. I buy mine in bulk from the Amish bulk food store. And then I go ahead and I just transfer it into a half-gallon jar because again, it just keeps easier for me, and I'm able to label it on top and date it. Pectin is what you're going to need when you make a jam or a jelly. This is going to be your thickener. Now, most pectin is made with apples. Sometimes they're made with citrus, like, you know, your lemons and your limes, usually more lemons than limes, but usually it's made from apples. And so this is just a natural thickener that is found in fruit in the powdered form, so that this is going to help you thicken up those jellies and thicken up those jams. Now, many people ask me, Heather, can I use Sure Jell in place of Clear Jell? Sure Jell is a brand of pectin, okay? So you're going to want to use that for your jams and your jellies. Clear Jell, however, is a modified food starch. Okay, and so if you think of it more, if you think of your like say if you were going to use blueberries, okay? If you add pectin to blueberries, you would get blueberry jam. So if you added Sure Jell to blueberries, you would get blueberry jam. If you added Clear Jell to blueberries, you would get blueberry pie filling. So think of the thickener in a jam, a nice thick jam, and think of the thickener in pie filling, that goopy, gloopy pie filling that you get. There is a complete difference in the two. So Sure Jell is your pectin, Clear Jell is your pie filling thickener, if that makes sense. So that's how you're going to tell those two apart. Many people think that the same thing. So that's the difference between Sure Jell and Clear Jell. Sure Jell is a brand of pectin. Clear Jell is for pie filling. And I have countless emails, you guys, of people who have used, couldn't find Clear Jell, so they used Sure Jell for their pie filling, and their pie filling didn't turn out right. And that is why, because even though they're very close in name, they're two completely different products. So you're going to want to make sure you have pectin on hand. It really doesn't matter the brand. Ball does sell it. You can usually find that at your grocery store or like Walmart. But I like to buy mine in bulk because I go through a lot of it, and I never want to run out of it. So I will leave a link down below to some pectin that you can pick up and buy and have on hand in your canning pantry. Okay, so now that leads us to the Clear Jell. So this is how you can buy Clear Jell, or this. This is from the Amish bulk food store, and this is from Amazon. When you buy Clear Jell, now this is your modified food starch, and this is going to be that goopy, oopy thickener that you are going to use for your pie fillings, okay? There are two different kinds of Clear Jells though. There's an instant type that you would use for like a pudding or something that you're making or you're thickening in the moment. And then there is the cook type. Hopefully that is focused for you guys. So this is the one that you want to get. You want to get the cook type, because when we are making pie filling to can, we are cooking that pie filling. If you use an instant, it's not going to work out. If you use anything else like a cornstarch or anything like that, it is going to break apart. Down below in the description box, I am going to leave you guys a link to some photos of what Clear Jell will look like in a pie filling if you used the Clear Jell and if you don't use the Clear Jell. You'll find if you don't use the cook type Clear Jell when you are canning your pie filling, it's going to be watery, it's going to be runny, it might break up in chunks and become chunky. So remember, canning is a science, and even if you make pie filling with flour or anything else when you're making it in the moment, remember, canning it, preserving it, making it shelf stable and safe to consume is a totally different science, okay? So it's very important that we use the proper tools and the proper additives into our canning so we make it safe. And I want to get on to safety in a minute, but I'm going to add this into the mix. This is Pickle Crisp, and this is something that if you are interested in making pickles or anything where you want a crunch to your vegetables, grabbing some of this and adding some of this into your canning is going to make all the difference between a wormy, limp pickle and something that is nice and crisp and has a bite to it when you can it. Because remember, when we can, we're cooking. So if we're cooking cucumbers, they're gonna get soggy. So you're gonna wanna add something like a Pickle Crisp to keep them nice and crunchy. All right, you guys, so let's talk about canning and safety. My goal here is to help cheer you on, not to be a teacher, but to be more of an inspiration or a mentor where the things that I do here on the channel inspires you to do it as well. There's so many of you that are just You know, we've talked about the fear of canning, the fear of being overwhelmed, not knowing the steps, what you should do, kind of behind the scenes of what you see here in a lot of YouTube videos. So this workshop really was to talk about those things, walk through those things together, show you some of the behind the scenes, if you will, that you don't see on a lot of YouTube videos, mine included, and to really demystify canning for you. And that's really what I wanted for you guys. With that said, I really want to talk about canning and canning safety. As you start your canning journey, I really want you guys to focus on following the steps, getting used to the rhythm of canning, and I cannot stress enough to keep it simple. So many people have hit me up and said, you know, Heather, I want to can my great Aunt Mary's cream of broccoli soup. Can I do that? If you're asking me those questions, then you don't know enough about canning to even think about canning Great Aunt Mary's cream of broccoli soup, okay? If you're emailing me asking me, can I can my cornbread recipe, or can I can cake, then you don't know enough about canning to be able to even think about doing something like that. Canning is a science. And as you learn the canning process and you start off your journey, keep it simple. That means stay away from the recipes. Stay away from canning chili or spaghetti sauce or even salsa. Stick with the easy basics, especially when you get into pressure canning. Can simple things like green beans, corn, carrots, mushrooms, potatoes, stock. Learn those simple things first and get comfortable with canning just simple ingredients where you don't even have to add salt to that. It's basically learning the process. And then as you grow as a canner and your knowledge expands in canning, you've got experience under your belt, you've kind of encountered some things that have popped up, maybe, you know, failed seals, or, you know, a canner that didn't vent properly, or any of those things that, you know, a broken jar, like all of the things that earn you your canning badge, your canning stripes on your badge. Once you start getting used to and comfortable with the process and the steps of canning, then start venturing out into approved, safe recipes. And then start learning how to kind of add some extra levels of complication to your recipes. But when you're first starting out, I can't stress enough, just keep it simple. Don't add any extra stress to yourself. Don't think that because you're new to pressure canning, you need to can a chili or spaghetti sauce or, you know, a soup. I don't even can soups. I keep my things very, very easy. And then when I make a soup, I pull those ingredients from my shelf. If I want green beans and corn and mushrooms and carrots, I want to use an onion stock or a chicken stock or a smoked, you know, pork stock, a beef stock. I pull those things off my shelf, I add them to a pot, and I create the soup from there. Remember, our foremothers, when they canned, they didn't think about canning bread or canning a burrito in a jar. There was no reason for that. They canned what they grew and what they harvested. And from there, they made supper. So think of that and keep it simple. The more you add to canning, the more complicated, the more issues you're going to encounter. This is why in that pressure book, and I'll leave the link up above, when I did that review on the pressure canning cookbook, I found many problems, and it wasn't just me, it was many other canners as well, with some of the recipes. Because I know if you have to can something for the time of burger or meat or bean, and you're putting something in there that only needs 20 minutes canning, that food item that only needs 20 minutes, by the time you can it for 90 minutes, there's going to be nothing left of it. So remember, the more complicated you make a recipe, the more likely it is that that recipe or some of the items in that recipe might be destroyed through the canning process. And you're probably not going to get the end result that you're really hoping for. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you keep that in mind while you can. Canning should be an enjoyable time. It should be very rewarding. It should be gratifying. It should be empowering. And as a new canner, if you are trying to add too many things to it and make it too complicated, you're not going to enjoy the process. You're also not going to learn the basics of canning. And the first and foremost thing that you need to learn are the steps you need to do beforehand to get ready. I'm still seeing canners out there making videos that aren't washing their lids, that aren't washing their jars, that are not prepping food properly even to can it. Once you learn the steps, you're going to feel a lot more confident in canning, and it's not going to feel so overwhelming. Remember, the whole point of this workshop and getting you guys canning is to demystify, take the fear out, and a lot of that comes from overcomplicating it and feeling overwhelmed. So if we can keep it simple, I think you are going to have so much success, and you are going to enjoy the process so much. You're gonna look for things to can. You're gonna look for things to put into jars. Also remember, you don't have to grow everything in order to can. Don't let people, and trust me, I've had my fair share of naysayers, try to shame you for purchasing things from a farmer's market, or shame you when you see green beans on sale for 99 cents a pound at your local grocery store. Don't feel like you need to grow everything in order to can it. Remember, you can can all year round. You don't have to just wait until, summer and fall when your garden comes through. Many of us here on YouTube can all year round. If we're not canning things out of the garden or from our farmer's market, we're canning things from our grocery store, or we're canning beans, we're canning meat, we're making stocks all winter long. So remember that canning can be all year round. You don't have to only grow what you can. You can buy it. It's okay. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about doing that, because not all of us are blessed with areas or backyards that can, we can have an acre large garden. So don't let anybody distract you or detour you or anything like that from canning. This is your journey, and I am so excited for you. It has been an honor and a privilege to be able to make these videos for you guys, demystifying canning. And I'm hoping that we were able to take a lot of the fear and anxiety out of canning, and a lot of the mystery out of canning. And I really hope that you guys give this a try, and you get those canners on the stove, because like I've said before, you can watch 1,000,001 canning videos, but unless you feel confident enough in your knowledge, unless we can get those canners on the stove, the videos really are just an entertainment, right? So I really hope that you give canning a try, and I really do hope that this is a new movement that we can all do, that we get back to our roots, back to the basics, and we all become home food preservationists. We all start building a pantry that our family can fall back on, especially if times get hard, which for many of us have already started. So I am cheering all of you on. I am praying for each and every one of you, and I am here for you if you have any questions or need any additional help. If there is something that I didn't answer in this workshop, leave it down below. I will try to answer it. Maybe I will do, if I have enough, I'll do a like a question and answer video before the month is up. And I hope that you guys like, share, subscribe. I usually don't say that on my videos. But since we've been kind of shadow banned here on YouTube for using the word revolution, I'm going to ask you guys to share this around, spread these workshops, let people know about it, especially if you know that they have wanted to learn this life skill. And I'll be seeing you guys soon. We're going to be focusing on some bread now for the month of February. Nothing as involved or in-depth as this canning series has been. Just something very light, very easy. Making bread is very empowering and rewarding. And if you can't get to the store, or if an emergency happens and you are running out to the store and bread is all gone, I want you to be able to be empowered and know how to make a simple loaf of bread for your family. So we're going to talk about just making a simple loaf of bread. I'm also going to be making those baguettes that many of you have been seeing me post pictures over on Instagram and Facebook. And many of you have wanted to learn how to make that one of the easiest recipes. So I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm going to share with you the yeast that I use, the bread pans that I use. I'm going to demystify all of that. And I'm hoping that in the month of February, if you've ever wanted to bake bread, you will get out some flour and some yeast and bake bread with us, because it's so much fun. And as much as I love canning, my heart belongs to bread baking. I just love it so, so much. So I will be seeing you guys shortly for those. And with that, I'm going to wish you guys well and happy canning. All right, guys, you take care.